course, one of President Obama's staunchest advocates, Illinois Senator, Senate Democratic Whip Dick Durbin. Senator Durbin, thanks for joining us. Pretty dramatic slide in the polls the president has suffered in the last 2 weeks. Can he reverse that tonight?
Well, absolutely. And I can tell you that the hit that we took after the first debate was temporary. We are still ahead in the battleground states, all 9 of them. We feel good about our position, but it's going to be a close election. Tonight's debate is an important part of the end game.
Well, wait a second, Senator. You say you're still ahead in all the battleground states. Let's take a look at what's happened to the polls. And what I'm using here is the average of polls by Real Clear Politics. And I want to start with a chart that shows where we were 2 weeks ago. Obama up 5% in Nevada, Obama up 3% in Colorado, 3.5% in Iowa, 5.5% in Ohio, 2% in Florida, 3.5% in Virginia. That was 2 weeks ago. Now look at today. This is the latest average on Real Clear Politics. Obama still leads in Nevada, but Romney is ahead by a slim margin in Colorado. Romney is ahead in Florida. Romney is ahead in North Carolina. That's a pretty dramatic swing over the course of the last 2 weeks.
I can tell you that polls differ. I had a conversation with Jim Messina earlier this evening. We went through many of the same states and came to different conclusions. Our feeling is it's going to be a close election. There's no question we'd rather be in our position than Mitt Romney's position. And look at what he did in the debate in Denver. He basically backtracked on some things that he had taken hard positions on before. And he couldn't explain his basic tax policy, how $5 trillion tax cut and $2 trillion more for defense could lead to balancing the budget. Arithmetic is not a matter of opinion. He's got to come up with some clear answers, and tonight may be his opportunity to do it.
Senator, as you know, the president got a lot of criticism 2 weeks ago for not taking on his challenger more aggressively. Tonight, he's got a town hall format. Makes it much more difficult for him to directly confront Governor Romney. Can he do it?
I think he can, but remember, you need to be respectful of the questioners, those in the audience, and respond to their questions. And Candy Crowley may play a little policeman role here to make sure that the candidates actually do that. So it's not as clear as the head-to-head debate that we saw in Denver. Still, there'll be plenty of opportunity for both the president and Mitt Romney to express their points of view. We'll know where they stand before the end of the debate.
We've had a little bit of news today, Senator. A123, the battery company, which received a $250 million stimulus grant from the Obama administration, has declared bankruptcy. Does that bankruptcy in any way repudiate what the president was trying to do in the green energy area during stimulus, in your mind?
Absolutely not. Let's get to the bottom line here. Who's making the most wind turbines and solar panels in the world today? China. China. Now that may be okay for an American investor who doesn't care where the jobs are, but for a president who wants the jobs in America, focusing our investment as a government in those companies that move us toward innovation, towards more patents and more opportunities is the way to go.
A bankrupt company doesn't help that.
Oh, well, let me ask you a question. Can you guarantee that any company is going to be liquid and solvent and profitable for the rest of its existence? You couldn't even say that about the Wall Street Journal. The bottom line is
we're not going there, Senator.
Are going to fail.
We're not going in that direction.
The bottom line is some companies are going to fail. That is the nature of the free market system. Folks at the Wall Street Journal should understand that.
Yeah, thank you, Senator. The other thing that we're going to hear about tonight, there's no question about it, and we've been hearing about increasingly over the last week or so, is the situation in Benghazi and the attack that killed the American ambassador at the consulate there. Did the president do all he could do to prevent that from happening? That's the question that's going to be in people's minds.
I think it's a legitimate question. The president accepts responsibility. The buck does stop in the White House. But let's get to the bottom line here. We lost 4 American lives, including our ambassador. It is a time of great sadness for our nation, but also a time when we should, as we did after 9/11, sit down and very carefully measure what happened that evening. Put together the investigation before we move forward. The president's made it clear those responsible will be held accountable in the end. But to politicize this, Mitt Romney was on the attack against the president even before it was reported that the ambassador had been killed. Let's take the politics out of this terrible situation. Let's get to the bottom of it. and let's hold those responsible accountable.
Senator, I don't think we're going to be taking politics out of anything for the next 3 weeks, but maybe after that.
That's possible.
Thank you very much for being with us.